watched the replay, and I was live the whole time. All right. Here we go. Guardians, what is up? Guardians only call. I'll explain why this is Guardians only call. I mean, I hope it makes sense to you. You guys are welcome to share whatever you want to share outside of here on a personal basis, okay? Personal basis. Do not blast us out there. Put it in writing. Share it in a way that it can create unintended consequences, because we will have to peel back the what we share. All right. Now, let's start. Let's look at night. Let's do our standard. This is insane. Our floor as Guardians and team, our floor for us to get filthy rich is for us to hold 50 cents. We may never have to hold 50 cents. That is absurd. I unless you've been in crypto for a while, it's tough to understand the gravity of this. It's absurd. And so we got a lot of partnerships coming. I'm going to show you how to use those partnerships as they come in. I'm going to make suggestions and just show you some things that maybe you're not aware of or haven't thought about, okay? So we got our farm. You should have your base right here in Guard BUSD. And Night BNB or Night BUSD. And we actually had somebody today. Congratulations. I'm not going to name names. He did say it publicly in Direwolf, but I'll leave that up to him. We have somebody who's buying a house with his crypto gains, okay? And so one of the things he was able to do here is go into the BNB BUSD and unstake it and unpair it to show that the capital was there. So that's cool. But the key here is that sometimes maybe if you just have a ton of capital and you're waiting for Night price to come down, or you're waiting for Guard price, or maybe you just move capital over and you're going to deal with it tomorrow or next week, really good idea at this point in the cycle, in my opinion, to put it somewhere like this, BNB BUSD, or even more stable, USDT BUSD. So this is just a dollar or DAI USDT. This is Maddie's favorite. Maddie is the most risk averse of our team. So you got stable options. Don't be afraid to just stick your dollars in here while you're trying to figure out what to do with them. Okay. But the added benefit is we've created kind of a really cool thing where everybody wants everything paired and staked all the time. And that's cool, but like it's okay to have assets that are appreciating just sitting around. So what I like to do in this case is in either case. So if I have BNB BUSD and I know that I'm going to buy some Night, or I'm yielding Night and I'm going to get some Guard soon, I'll just leave it here, right? And then as I collect my yield, I'll just take it out of here and pair it, right? So you can be strategic about this stuff. You can limit the amount of swaps. You don't, let's say you got $10,000 today and you get $10,000 tomorrow and you want Guard BUSD pair, you can just drop that 10 grand in here. Or if you want it stable, here for 24, 48 hours. And then when your transfer clears or whatever, and you just buy the Guard, you could take it out of here and pair it, right? So you can also think, this is how I think of farms and pools sometimes as storage. Instead of letting it sit in KuCoin, right? Maybe I can't pair. I think I actually have some. Let me look. This is my test account. You can always see. I'll show you guys. 74FE. That's my personal account. But I do most things through like the fund management, right? So I just test things here. You'll see 74FE, buy, sell, and do all kinds of weird stuff. That's me. Right? So I had some Night, and I just didn't want to deal with KuCoin, so I just staked it. It's storage. Right? So I encourage you to think that way in terms of how to navigate some of this stuff, because you don't have to pair. It's okay to leave things unpaired. It's fine. Like, just sleep on it for a day or two. Okay? Yeah, Callie, calm down. There's too many O's. You can, the maximum when we say let's go is you have a maximum of 2 O's. Otherwise it's too much excitement at once. Right? So you can think about that stuff. Let me explain to you, and this is more of a public thing, but I'll explain to you guys because it's here. The way this is built, you guys want some, you can let me know in the chats. Let me know if you want if you want to know how a DEX is built and why. Night and BNB they're essentially nodes. If you know anything about network theory, right? The value of the network increases with the number of nodes, but those nodes have to be interconnected. So I know there's a delay, so I'm waiting for chat. I'll just keep going. If somebody says we don't want to hear this, then I'll stop. Okay, so the way this works, just so you guys understand, is there's a primary pair. Night BNB is the primary pair. You can look at a DEX and you can always tell their primary pair because it has the highest multiplier. See the 60x multiplier? 45x? We can look at, I don't remember how this is laid out, right? Banana BNB has a 40x multiplier, whereas ETH BNB has 1.75, right? Banana BUSD is 12.5. So you can tell that Banana's primary node, or ApeSwap's primary node, is Banana BNB, right? I bet BabySwap is going to be USDT. I didn't look at this beforehand, but you see how when you understand ecosystem, you can tell if things are fragile or not. Details. Does it show a multiplier here? There you go, 50x multiplier, right? And BNB has a 15x. That means that this DEX, this whole entire DEX, runs through this node. Right? Hopefully that makes sense. So we don't actually need Night BUSD LP to trade Night BUSD. We do have it, right? Everything runs Night BNB. Everything runs through Night BNB. So that's why we need a BNB BUSD LP. So that when you trade BUSD for Night, for example, assuming we didn't have this liquidity, which we do, it would actually go from BUSD to BNB to Night. See how that works? By having this LP and this LP, we are allowing any of these assets involved to be traded for Night, back and forth. Okay, I hope that makes sense. Now, guard BUSD, because we have a BUSD BNB, if you trade BNB for guard, we don't need a guard BNB liquidity pool for that to work. The BUSD will get turned into BNB and buy guard, right? So that's the primary nodes there. Hopefully that makes sense. That's why the liquidity pools and farms are getting built out like they are. If you wanted to buy Night with Bitcoin or trade your Night for Bitcoin, it would go from Bitcoin to BNB. And since we have the highest multiplier, we're going to get a lot of liquidity here. It would go from Bitcoin to BNB to Night. That's how it would route if you wanted to buy Night with Bitcoin. All that starting to make sense? So this is built out as a routing system so that you can trade safely. And there doesn't have to be liquidity for Night Ethereum. Right? We don't have to go find a bunch of Night and Ethereum to pair for people to trade it. When people trade Ethereum for Night, it's going to go from Ethereum to BNB, and it's going to go from BNB to Night using this primary node. Right? These are the things. This is why very few people will succeed in crypto over a long period of time, is because somehow this is a totally foreign concept, and I totally get it. Like, I didn't see it until I saw it, and then once you see it, you can't unsee it, right? So hopefully that makes sense. These are all routed. If you wanted to trade USDT for Night, it would go USDT to BUSD to BNB to Night. You wouldn't see all that. You would just see USDT to Night, right? These farms, the core farms, are a routing system. You wanted to trade DAI for Night, it would go DAI, USDT, BUSD, BNB Night. You wouldn't see any of that. You would just see DAI for Night. But you see how we don't have to have a bunch of different liquidity pairs if we build out from a primary node. I hope that makes sense. Because otherwise, let me tell you the difference. Otherwise, the only way you could trade Bitcoin for Night, if we didn't build it this way, is that there would have to be hundreds of thousands of dollars of liquidity. So people would have to provide Bitcoin and Night. Can you please explain BNB BUSD is a storage place? Specifically, what happens if BNB goes back to 300? Yeah, let me explain. I'm going to make videos about this later, so I'm not going to go super in depth. I would use this. Here's the most important thing. This is why we have stables, by the way. If I would go USDT BUSD, the differentiator is, do you have market cycle awareness? And do you have a belief in market cycles? Do you know market cycles? If yes, BNB might be a great place because you might catch a little bit of upside. But if you want to set it and forget it for 5 months, market cycle awareness tells me you might ride BNB back down to 300, right? So there's the market cycle awareness and how often do you want to move things around. If you're like, I want to leave this for like a year, I would not do that here because of this BNB. Market cycle awareness tells me in a year, we may very well be in a bear market. In a bear market, both of these will still be worth $1. This might get cut in half. Right. So market cycle awareness is important, and time preference, meaning if you're going to check this once a week, you're probably going to be fine. But you still have to have market cycle awareness if you want to set it and forget it. Or if BNB is a long hold. I do not like BNB as a long hold. That's me personally. But if BNB was a long hold, then you can just set it and forget it. Right. You're going to hold it for 10 years. Just put it there, whatever, or yield on it. So hopefully that makes sense. You really got to understand your macro beliefs on these things. 99.99999% of the planet, including myself, I have a different strategy than the Wolfden farming wallet, because the Wolfden treasury, the farming wallet, is run by Kevin, who is extremely tuned in to the daily, weekly, and monthly fluctuations of the market. So he gets a higher return than I do on average. Because I would rather just stick it here. I got stuff to build. I don't want to look at charts all day. I don't want to pay attention to the market, the macro market. And I pay attention to the macro market to buy and sell Bitcoin. But what I don't want to do personally is I don't want to be like, uh-oh, looks like BNB might start tanking next week. Now I have to go find all of these fucking pairs and unpair them and swap them and repair them. I don't want to do that. So I would personally use USDT BUSD or DAI USDT as a storage, unless it was short term. Unless I knew that tomorrow I was going to put half my night in the BNB pool and half my night in the BUSD farm, right? Then I would want BNB BUSD. So my brain is processing fastest, most efficient path forward, least amount of moves, which is why we are going to probably build the DEX better than anybody. In my opinion, no promises. Yep, that explains the craziness of swaps. So smart contracts, they're brilliant. Smart contracts can be programmed. Ours only runs on night. Okay, but there's others, forks and stuff that have smart contracts that'll search all of Binance. So some of our vaults, it might buy it on Pancake and sell it on. It'll route through liquidity from different places. Right, so smart contracts are just trying to find a way. Now the danger is here's the danger, and this is why we give, and this is all public stuff. So I'll share all this later. The reason that we want to have high APR is we need this liquidity, because if you try to swap DAI for night, okay, and it goes DAI to USDT, and then it tries to go from USDT to BUSD, but there's not enough liquidity here. See, we got plenty. But if there's not enough liquidity here, it will either not go through, or it'll use, if you set it to default, it'll use a ton of slippage, and you'll get some loss. Right? You're going to lose some of your capital there. And then if there's not enough liquidity here, you'll lose some there, and so on and so forth. Which is why having a million farms with a little bit of liquidity turns into being dangerous for the user, right? Hopefully that makes sense. Yes, I would pair off and sell the BNB before it tanks. So if I was sitting here and it was looking like market's going to hit a downturn and I still just kind of wanted to sit in a semi-stable, I would just plop it into here or guard or whatever, you know. Hopefully that makes sense. Yeah, so that's why it's being built this way. So there's like, we really want a BTC ETH farm, but there's actually no utility on the platform. It would bring a lot of TVL, but there's no utility. It does not make the platform run smoother. See the difference there? So people are always like, again, man, wouldn't it be cool if ... I'm like, yeah, sure, it'd be cool, but it's not useful. Again, valid, not useful. So the core farms are always providing all the ability to route safely. Okay. And then we add partner farms. That brings TVL, it brings new users, all this stuff. And the partner farm has to be paired with something that can be routed safely. Right? That's why you always see, that's why on Baby Swap, all the pairs are USDT. Right? USDT, that one's a crazy one. So you could trade this, like you could trade SHIB for Doge, go to BSC scan, it'll show you the route that it takes. Right? But most of them are USDT because that's the safest route with the most liquidity, and because it has, listen how much liquidity they have in here, $6 million here, you can always trade Baby. That's the one thing they want you to do is buy Baby, right? They want you to use D&D to buy Baby, which you can do directly because they share this node, this USDT pair. Right? Stuff that people don't know that they should know, that also, like, why would they know that, right? We have to leave a lot of room for forgiveness, because, like, why the hell would anybody know that, you know? So now people can trade Crush safely. More importantly for us, they can trade Crush safely because of this liquidity. Okay? But they can also trade Crush directly for anything else on this platform safely, because we have built this routing through this primary node structure, right? So that's foundationally why it's built this way. And then we strategize. We have to build foundation, and then we strategize. We cannot strategize and then build, which is what I typically do when I don't have dev power, because we will start running into routing issues, right? Strategically, to bring more TVL, we would have had BTC ETH. Right? That would bring the most TVL. We have like $500,000 that we would drop on there. However, it does not provide any utility to the platform. So utility first, we strategize around the utility. As utility expands, our strategy expands. Right? That way we never have a strategy that we do not have the pieces in place that we can safely implement. I hope that all makes sense. I will probably cut off this part and share it publicly because I think that's going to be useful for everybody. This is amazing. Thank you. I mean, I didn't come up with it, but appreciate you sharing that. So here's what it looks like now. We got our base, right? Whether you're Night BUSD, whether you're Night BNB, whether you're Guard BUSD, you should kind of have it split there. As long as these APRs are high, I would take this yield and I would pair it up here. If you have Guard laying around, if you have spare Guard, I would absolutely pair that first. That's my personal opinion. But you build your base. Your base is your base. I don't care what it is. You have our suggestions on a base. It's Night BUSD, Night BNB, and Guard BUSD. Right? And you can it's self-undulating. Let me tell you what that means, because I just made that word up. It's self-undulating. Meaning, if you have your Guard BUSD pair, that's what you start with. Okay? You are going to yield Night, which means you now have unpaired Night. Which means next time you bring capital in, you just pair the Night. Right? And then you can buy more Guard BUSD if you want, which will create more Night, which you pair. So you can actually, it's a self-undulating system in that you don't really have to decide, do I want this or this or this or this? The fact that you're yielding Night means that the fastest path, especially with these APRs where they're at, is to just pair it. Right? New capital. Just pair the unpaired first. If you always pair the unpaired first, it will grow your primary and secondary base case simultaneously at different rates, but that's fine. You're growing both simultaneously, right? And again, self-directing. It undulates from Guard BUSD to Night to Guard BUSD. Now, it doesn't. If you start with Night, it doesn't undulate. because it goes from night to night, from night to night. So to build a robust base case, starting with guard, you build in a very simple strategy to hedge and create two primary, secondary base case. Does that make sense? The like any complex system, starting conditions matter more and more over time, right? Like if you're 1 degree off, you're sailing, and you're 1 degree off, the longer you sail, the more off base you are. So starting conditions determine a lot. That's why our starting is always guard BUSD. It will fill the others. It'll fill the other base case. Okay, so then you have all this night. Now, I strongly recommend you don't sell night. You're welcome to. That's fine. If you're selling it to put it back into something else, it's great. TVL at this point, as long as we're over 50 cents, TVL is more valuable long-term than the token price. So you want to sell it to create more, that's great. But I recommend don't, because now we have these pools. Okay, and what we want to do here, I staked some this morning. Boom, you can compound it. You just put your night in here. Boom, 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 boom. The longest term strategy, I'm going to break this down in waves. The longest term strategy that will make the most money over time is going to be to compound this night until you can pair it. Once you can pair it, compare it. Right? You come to the farm and you pair it. That will grow to literally, like not even hyperbolic, millions and millions of dollars because you got in here, okay? So you compound it. When you get capital, and you can come and you can pair it. And when you run out of night to pair, you buy more guard BUSD. That would be my old Uber FU money strategy right there. That's the Uber FU money strategy. Longest time preference, most amount of money. Now here's the other cool thing. You want to take a paycheck? You want to compound your golden goose and take a paycheck? You got a lot of night and you just don't have dry powder coming in? Cool, let's make some dry powder. Here's how we do that. We stake in a partner pool. I personally do not want to sell any of these things right here. So I'm not sitting in these pools for profit. I'm sitting in these pools for golden goose. These are golden goose pools. These are profit pools. So you approve night, and you stake it in there, and you get crush. You can take all your night. You can take half your night. Totally up to you. Okay? The second longest time preference is to go, all right, crush. I can put this here, and I'll get a bunch of crush. I turn around, and I can sell it. That's one thing, but let's think a little bit. Can we get, let me show you this. You're sitting in guard BUSD. You're getting yield. Okay? That's more than the 70%. That's 142% APY. Okay? So you're already above your base case. Then you put the night here and you stack yield on top of yield. It becomes multiplicative. Then you put it here and you stack more yield on top of yield. Again, it's multiplicative. You still have this asset. You still have your base asset. You're accumulating assets. You can sell this right off. I wouldn't do it daily because like those amounts will be small-ish and it doesn't feel as good, but weekly, monthly, whatever. Take a paycheck. Or get dry powder to come back and pair and build the whole system bigger. You can also, this is the secondary case, you can also go, crush. What the hell is crush? So we come to Bit Crush and we see that we can single stake crush here for 167% as well. And it'll auto compound. So secondary long-term strategy, right? And the reason this is a not as long of a strategy is because you can still take profit whenever you want. You take the crush, you put it in this crush pool, and you just let it automatically compound. You do that once a week or once a month or once a day, whatever. Okay, but now you can say, oh shit, I need to pay for something. I want to do a pre-sale. I want to pair my guard. I want to buy more guard. I need some wolfies, whatever, right? You can come right in here. You can unstake this stash that you've been accumulating. You can unstake the rest of this if you haven't already. and you can sell it off to create a cash windfall. Here's the thing. You just got paid, and it's going to compound to be a decent amount. You just got paid, and you are still growing your pot. You didn't sell any night. It's still accumulating, which means next time you get paid, it's going to get bigger, right? You're still farm. You still have your base assets. They're probably growing. Guardian's probably growing. Knight's probably growing over time. You are accelerating your wealth at a rate that is like, if you calculate it, it's absurd. People ask about our farming wallet. How'd you go from 6 figures to 7 figures so fast? This is how. Okay? Hopefully that makes sense. So it's an option if you got a longer time preference to then take this crush and put it over here. The difference is, let me tell you the difference between strategy 1 and strategy 2. Strategy 1 is, I'm not selling anytime soon. So you go night for night and you compound it and you put it back in the farm. It's system reliability. This will be the most reliable, fastest way. But in order to take money that you might need, you would have to sell a macro belief, which we don't want to do. You're welcome to, but we want to try to avoid it, right? So if it's like, I might need some money soon, just in case. Cool. Stack your crush. When you need money, sell it. You haven't sacrificed any of your golden goose. In fact, it is still growing. So next time you take a paycheck, it's exponentially bigger. You can ask our team. We have a team wallet that does this. It's a very small percentage of our treasury. And it was like, hey, we all got $200. Cool. And then we all got $700. And then like it grows so fast because you're not starting over every time. Your paycheck is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? So if you have enough time preference, you get your crush and you stack your crush right here on crush. They're good people. Right? Get your crush, stack your crush, and then you always have a oh shit stack of cash sitting right here. Now imagine for a moment, so this is banana, okay? Now banana's $2. We're going to blow by a banana. Now imagine you had this pool. I'm sorry, I'm on the farms. Let's go to pools. Banana for banana, that's like night for night, right? Banana for DEP, banana for our sun, banana for TXL. So you could actually, as we add farms, we're gonna add pools. We're gonna add 2 or 3 a week. Okay, you can actually go and do your research, and as a guardian, I will show you all of these things. You can say, PHX, I don't know anything about it, but you can look at it and go, oh, it doesn't have an option, so I'm just gonna sell it or not stake there. Right? You can start to develop these strategies based on what you want. So as we have a crush pool, it gets loaded up, the APR might go down. That's fine. We're still storing our night in a way that gives us buying power later on and selling access, right? But when we have 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 pools, when we have 20 pools, when you go to pools here, and you have a ton of night, right? You put a little night here, put a little night here, put a little night here, put a little night here. And when you say, I feel like making some money today. I want to do a pre-sale. I need like one BNB to get in this pre-sale. Cool. Harvest, sell. There's your free money. And if you want, right, you can go to BNBCH and you can see if there's ways to just put it somewhere and compound it. And there's a strategy you just developed. You just built a strategy to take your base that is always growing and build a paycheck for yourself that is always growing. You don't have to cash it. You just know that it's there in case of emergency, break glass, sell shit. Now we're going to bring on dozens of these pools, right? Dozens of them. So there's no reason to sell night. You're welcome to. It's not, you just got to realize like you're killing the golden goose when you do. So again, just imagine if you had $1 million a baby, but 100,000 there, 100,000 there, 100,000 there, 100,000 there, 100,000 there. And now you just have all these paychecks that are going to vary in APR. Hot cross might go down in value, but bog might go way up. So you're kind of hedging your downside by doing it that way. Or you can just find one that you like, or two. See crush. Crush is right there. Does that make sense? This is how we pay our team, all of our buybacks, everything is growing exponentially, and we never have to sell a base asset. We don't have to. And it grows so fast that Kevin, I don't know if he's here. I can't see attendees. But Kevin messaged me the other day and was like, I feel like these numbers aren't even real anymore. And yeah, that's what happens when you just roll. So the short-term strategy now, and I got to make sure that this pool is working. The pool is working. The APR is something's broken on the APR, but the pool is working. So you're still going to get the crush. So I'll recap for you guys real quick. The longest term strategy is you put your base in a farm, you put the extra night, you unpair things as they come in, right? And if you don't have powder, you put it in night or guard, whichever, right? And as powder comes in, you pair it and put it back in the base. That grows the base. That's the longest term strategy. That will make a fuck ton of money over a long amount of time. Now, if you're not quite sure that you can put all of the capital, like you might need the capital, you might want to do some pre-sales, yada, yada, yada. Cool. Start putting your night in these pools. Yeah, if you have a medium time preference, you're pretty sure that but maybe once a month, you just want to take some profit. Cool. Sit in the crush once a day or once a week, put it in here, let it auto compound itself, just fucking forget about it, right? Until you go back and you put more in. Eventually you come here and you're taking $2,000 a month in profit. But that $2,000 a month, if you keep compounding, is going to turn into 3. It's going to turn into 5. It's going to turn into 10. And it hasn't affected your base case. You are not pulling at all from your base case. You are actually still growing it. You see the power? That's the power. You just have to think a little bit harder and deeper about how this DeFi world works. Do you know why Crush has a pool? Why would Crush give us free stuff? Because they want to farm. So if we're going to give them free stuff, night, they're going to give us an equivalent amount of free stuff. That's how a decentralized world works. Because we don't have inventory of Crush and BNB, we have to incentivize holders to provide it with night. And because they need people to trade night somewhere, and they need a farm, they have to give us an equivalent amount that we're going to output in Crush. So when you understand how DeFi works, it makes perfect sense. There's no centralized organization that controls the inventory. That's the magic. Do we need to worry about damping Crush? No. No, everything's built like there's a guard pool. We're not worried about damping guard. Look, let me show you something. Let me show you something. Now, respectfully, they're partners, right? But ApeSwap is a partner of ours. Look at this. We're going to go, let me show you something about ApeSwap. On paper, guard should be damped to the floor, and it's not, because we understand ecosystem. Let me tell you why it should be damped to the floor. You go to this banana pool. See this banana pool? Let's sort it by total staked. There's $3 million of banana staked for guard. Are they damping us down? Let's look. No, I don't think so. So respectfully, if you can, sure, put it here. It helps BitCrush to do this. But we're not saviors of every token on the planet. We protect our base case. Crush, they will protect their base case, just like we protect guard. We have guard pools emitting a lot of guard. In fact, our guard pool is emitting more token than any other banana pool. This is golden banana, right? It's got a higher APR and more TVL by a lot. Look at the next one. Guard is by far the most popular token on ApeSwap. We do our job so that it doesn't damp down. BitCrush needs to do its job to prevent dampage. Now it's going to have an arcade. Right? Look at these sweet arcade games. Right? If people want to play these arcade games and they work really well, their token's not going to damp. It's not. And if the games don't ever come out and they don't ever work well, then the token is going to damp anyway. Right? You could absolutely how to funnel it back. You could take this crush and come back and pair it, but that's not gonna survive very long because look, it's got a 1x multiplier. Guard has a 5x multiplier. So there's no token, not even these stables. There's no token on the planet that will sustain as much TVL, $3 million, and still kick out this return other than Guard. Knight will, because it's the node. It's the primary node, right? Just like Banana will and just like Baby will. But Crush is not a primary node. So, and Guard has a 5x multiplier, which is borderline unheard of on a non-native token for a farm. Okay, so you could put it back in Crush, absolutely. You can compound these things any way you want, but hopefully that makes sense, and you can see why if you have enough Knight, and obviously Guard, and if you have a big enough base case and you're getting enough Knight and you're strategic, you can print yourself a paycheck. Not like money where you're like, oh, I got $1 million, but I can't take it apart. We actually want to start printing that kind of money in a way that we can recognize it, and we're gonna have. Let me show you this last thing, Guardian Insight here. Yeah, I'll explain multipliers real quick. So if you go here, new Knight per block, 10. Right? It's 10 new Knight per block. And it's distributed evenly amongst these farms. The 1x. Right? Now the smart contract is going to distribute it so that this gets 2 times the emissions that this does total. Guard gets 5 times the emissions that a 1x does. Okay? Because contracts, I've explained this many, many times. Not this part, but people said 5x. Okay. So contracts, this farm is built in token emissions. This whole farm, this whole platform is built in token emissions. And you can see right here, it emits 10 new Knight per block. No, it's no matter what. That's what it's minting. Okay. The multipliers determine how it's distributed to each farm. This one, the Knight B&B farm, gets 60 times the total tokens emitted than Crush B&B. So if they had the exact same amount of TVL, right, you would get 60 times the return here off per dollar. But they don't have the same amount of TVL, right? This is built to hold more TVL. So the farm itself, okay, the farm itself is going to emit 60 times as many tokens. Okay? Those tokens are distributed evenly amongst the LP tokens. So the more LP tokens that get staked, the more this APR goes down for everybody, but the farm emissions have never changed. They're just getting distributed amongst more LP tokens. So your APR, this is your APR that you would get with these calculations. This is not the APR of the farm necessarily, right? So hopefully that makes sense. The emissions won't change. Here's why. 10 per block. Okay, that's different every day. That's a different amount because blocks are sometimes 3 seconds long, sometimes they're 5 seconds long. So it's not always the same amount per day, but it comes out to an average. This can't change because when we get audited, we're in the audit process right now, we have to lock our emissions. Oh, down here. Okay, we have to lock our emissions. So new night per block will never change. What can change is the multipliers, how they get distributed. Okay, so this 60x gets 4 times the total token emission than 15x. That doesn't make a difference for the individual. It just means this farm has a larger pool being emitted, right? If the TVL were identical, then this APR would probably be about 4 times of this one, but the TVL is not identical, right? Never will be. So hopefully that makes sense. Multipliers mean nothing to you as an individual. APR is what you're looking at, but even that we know doesn't really matter. What we can look at as multipliers is we can look at guard. We could add the higher the multiplier, the more TVL it's going to be able to handle and sustain its APR. So you look at the multipliers in my mind as sustainability metrics. Anything over 2 is probably going to crush it for a pretty long time, right? A 2x multiplier is pretty serious. You can even go, like I said, Ape Swap here, go to their farms. Banana BUSD, that's a native token. It only gets a 12.5. That's normal. But you go to like Auto BNB, right? It's 0.35x, 0.1x. Even ETH is under 2. ETH BNB is under 2x, right? Where's my page? Okay. So that's what all that means. It's that just means that Crush, it's not going to hold $3 million of TVL like Guard and BUSD does. And that's because the only reason Guard BUSD, we will actually increase this multiplier as long as you guys respect the ecosystem, meaning you understand what I just taught you and you implement it, and you don't sell night into the ground by being impatient. If that happened, then we would have to lower this multiplier, right? So the reason that we can do things that no other project on this planet can do, no other dev would ever build this, ever. Because on paper, night would be below pre-sale. If you just looked at smart contracts, you would say, nope, this pool alone will damp night to the ground, and yet it has the most TVL and it hasn't. So we can do things that nobody else can do if we respect the ecosystem and build strategies that make sense. I want you all to take money. The reality is, if you want to take money and you want that amount to grow and you want it to keep growing, you implement strategy, one of the strategies I just shared with you, right? And over time, these pools, we got another one coming on Wednesday, about 2 a week. And all you got to do is go, Crush. Tell me more about Crush. Oh, look, they have single staking right here. I think it's galactic mining. Oh, cool. Yeah, I'll just store my Crush here and let it just compound. And then when I need cash, I'll sell it. Or when I want to pair more Guard, I'll sell it. Right? Let's hit the Twitters. See if there's anything. I don't think there's anything. We'll look Guardian. Guardian's cruising. Again, every dev that has looked at the way that we've handled things has said that Guardian should be damped to the ground. It's not. Same with Wolfies. I don't think nobody even knows what to do with Wolfies. Nobody even says anything about it anymore. I think they've given up. So you just got to understand that our ecosystem is a little bit different. Our holders are a little bit different. But it's not our job to build a base case for every token on the planet. It's our job to maximize our base case, because here's the other thing. As long as our base case crushes it, we have power. We have influence. People go, how the hell are you doing that? Teach me. And then I say, all right, well, I will help you if you have a farm and a pool. on night. The number of people that have come and said, hey, what can we pay you to consult us and relieve sell pressure? All I'm saying is if you have a farm and a pool on night, I'll help you. Because what I know is that TVL is a home run for us, and more pools means you guys can make more money faster, right? Not on the screen. The fastest way to make money on the screen is just compound your base case. But actually money that you can use to do other things requires a bunch of pools. So the stronger our base case is, and the more people say, how the hell are you doing that? The more tools you guys will have to print your dollars. Right? And that's why this was private, because we don't want Crush to see this and think we're attacking them. We're not. Like I said, we have guard pools. You go Finn for guard, you can go banana for guard. People want to sell it, that's fine. But if people want to sell it, we didn't do our job. So guardian strategy, I hope that makes sense. Try not to overthink it, and you can just play with it for a while. But this Crush pool is live. The APR is not showing. I'm going to tell you a secret. The APR doesn't matter. At this point, let me tell you why the APR doesn't matter. At this point, you got your base, right? And you are going above and beyond your 70% base that we decided that's our base, 70%. You're already well above that. And you're getting night, and you're putting it in here or you're putting it in here. It does not matter what this APR is. Not only is it free money, but it's free money from your free money. If you start stressing about these pool APRs, I will quickly lose faith in everything the Den has done, right? Like, you're going to waste your time and our time trying to dial in the specifics of the free money you're getting on the free money that you got. That's borderline ridiculous. I mean, that is ridiculous. It's borderline disrespectful, and I mean that respectfully. Okay? So hopefully that you can start to see how you just I'll give you one more example. This is advanced. This is it's like a forked method. If we had 3 pools, okay, or let's say we had 2 pools, I'll just use these examples. I don't recommend you do this for obvious reasons, but since it's here, we could put a third of our night in Wizard, a third of our night in Guard, a third of our night in Crush, right? And then we just compound the rest, and maybe every day we compound it, and then once a week we do it again. And we say, cool, we're going to sell this for BUSD, and we're going to pair it with this Guard. There you go, right? Unique strategy there, and this is profit. Or you could say, like for us, we could say, okay, we're going to sell this for buybacks, for our buyback wallet. We're going to sell this for our team wallet, so that's how we're going to pay our team. And we're gonna sell this and add it to our treasury, so we build a nice big treasury. The treasury for us is actually just more base, right? But you see how you can start going, all right, what am I trying to accomplish here? And as long as you have a strong base, you can just do it. I'm just reading the comments here. All right, hope that's helpful. Anything you want to share, you can share in Telegram group. Don't share the specifics. Definitely, we don't want to go around saying, we never want to tell people what to do with their money. So we don't want to say, oh, go sell Crush. Don't ever sell Night. Hodl to the moon. Like, don't tell people what to do with their money. It's extremely toxic. Because when you say, don't sell Night, hold it to the moon, we all know you're saying, you, stranger, you take behaviors for me to make more money, which is absurd. It is an absurd thing to even consider, but yet that's the norm. So share conceptually, share your takeaways, let people know. The more people that come into Guardian, the more people that we influence this way, the more power that we have, and the more sustainable everything becomes. At $30 million, we kind of open up and start bringing on way more farms and pools. At $50 million, we are untouchable. I don't think I shared this with you guys. Maybe I did. Let me find it. I got one more thing to share with you guys. Let me see. Oh, I wish I could share this. We got a huge reveal in Dallas. Like, if you think that, and I don't know where you guys are at, but if you think you're, if you think some of the stuff we've been doing is on like a large scale, wait until you see what we reveal in Dallas. All right. So here is TVL. Here's TVL. Pancake is first, obviously, right? Pancake is the OG. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Look who's number 7 after 4 days. This was yesterday. After 4 days, we flipped Jet Swap. We flipped Cafe Swap. They've been around for a while. We flipped Goose, Pear. Took 4 days to leapfrog Jet Swap. That's insane. At 33, 34 million, we're right behind Baby. People are going to notice, and that amplifies everything. That's more farms, that's more pools, that's more potential base case strategies. As long as you are building your base, the ability to compound and go exponential is just growing. Every node we add increases the potential for each base case significantly. Okay, appreciate you guys. If you need anything, just hop in the Guardian tier. I gotta go be productive. Not that this wasn't productive, but I gotta go like try to do stuff in the real world for a minute. I'm revealing the Wizard Marketplace later. I'll let you guys know when, and I would love your support.